And welcome to Inside the Pressure Cooker, where cooks and chefs share their stories of life inside the kitchen.
Amazed me, how chaotic it was, but everything was so in sync and, just flowed, amazingly. And I just, found it amazing that we could just cook, for a living, so.
I love to hear what got people into kitchens, because we all started somewhere, right? And it's not just fast food, because that doesn't necessarily count. But that first experience in a real kitchen where that shell shock kind of hits you, but you're in awe of the whole experience, and you're just amazed by its beauty, and you're just taken to it immediately. I mean, it really is like almost like a drug, where you're just like, oh shit, man! It's like I need more of this. And that's pretty much what happened to Riley, and I get it. And I know so many of you out there as well get that. So it's a pretty cool story to hear from them. Keep listening. All right, we're here with Riley. Riley, give me your 30-second elevator pitch. Who are you?
Chef Riley. I'm the Garde Manger chef for a casino for their banquets department. I specialize in watermelon carvings and fruit displays, charcuterie displays. Father of 4, and husband. And that's pretty much me summed up.
All right. How old are your kids?
I have a almost 8-year-old. She'll be 8 in a week. And then I have a 5, a 2-year-old, and a 9-month-old.
Oof. Man, so you've got your hands full.
Yeah. Things are very hectic.
All right. So tell me a little bit about what you're doing right now. Yeah, with the casino, the Garde Manger, I see. How'd you get into that?
So I just recently got promoted to that position a couple weeks ago, actually. But I had worked in our banquets department before out here and just kind of played around with that stuff a little bit, just kind of, making all of our fruit displays and stuff just to, a little bit nicer looking, and wasn't ever really too much of a serious thought, but I always enjoyed doing it. So I kind of kept playing around with it. And then eventually we got some different executive directors and stuff in here, and they liked what they were seeing. So they decided to go ahead and put me in that position full time and have that be my main focus.
Nice. So how did you get into cooking in general?
In high school, I started out in fast food, like a lot of teenage kids do. I enjoyed cooking at home as a hobby, but didn't ever really think of it too much as a career. And then I was about 2021, I had a job interview out here at the casino, and it was for a kitchen job, and didn't really want to be in food and beverage, but took the job anyways, because after my probationary period, I would be able to transfer to a different department. And so that was the plan. But got in the kitchen, ended up falling in love with it. Went to culinary school and just went from there. Started as a line cook, and then it was only 3 or 4 months in, they went ahead and promoted me to a lead line cook. And then after about 3 years of doing that, they promoted me to sous chef in the cafe that I was working at the time.
Right on. So what was that moment? Let's go back a little bit to when you just took the job and you were getting ready you wanted to transfer out, but you fell in love. Was there something specific that you can remember that just said, hey, this is it?
I think a lot of it was, just the chaos, it was just, it amazed me, how chaotic it was, but everything was so in sync and, just flowed, amazingly. And I just, found it amazing that we could just cook, for a living, so.
No, I get it. There's something, as I say, there's probably something addicting to the controlled
definitely.
chaos.
I've always known that, I don't want to be sitting behind a desk or something like that. That was never something I could see myself doing. So I just kind of,
right on.
fell right into the kitchen.
And where did you go to school?
I actually did online courses through Escoffier.
Okay, I've seen that. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
What did you think of that?
It's pretty cool. It's obviously, can't be as in depth as, in person, culinary school, but it's
Sure.
a lot of pictures and videos and very detailed descriptions of tastes and stuff like that. Like there's a whole chart that they provide you with of taste descriptions and stuff. So it's a pretty interesting class, or course. They have a menu class and a couple of business classes and stuff like that. So if you're not somewhere where you can actually go in person to a culinary school, it's the next best thing.
Okay. So you would recommend it to someone else?
Yeah, yeah. If that's what if that's the way that they want to go, because obviously you don't have to go to culinary school. That's not always the way people need to
No.
go to be amazing chefs. I just wanted to do it to advance my knowledge and stuff a little bit more. So
Absolutely. I think that's the biggest misconception about any kind of culinary school or education, where people think they're coming out just going to be the next, I don't know who they think they're going to be.
yeah,
But it's really just about establishing foundations to grow upon.
yeah, absolutely.
Right on. So, watermelon carvings, I see that quite a bit on your social media, and you kind of mentioned that a few times too. So, what got you into carving fruit?
Yeah, like I said before, I was working in our banquets department, and I don't even really remember how I came across, seeing that stuff somewhere and being like, oh, that's what we, need to start doing. And I just started playing around with it, just doing basic flowers and basic designs and stuff, and got to where I could do those fairly decently. And then started, doing business logos and stuff for different companies that came through for banquets. And yeah, it just went from there. That's kind of my specialty now, is doing like logos and wording and stuff like
Oh,
that.
that's pretty cool, because honestly, like when it comes to that Garde Manger side of things, and it's so much more than just putting meat and cheese on a plate,
Yeah,
which I think just is kind of what a lot of people associate it with. But there's a whole art to it.
yeah, absolutely.
Um, and so, when it comes to some of this watermelon or carvings, and some of the sculpture work, it's almost a lost art, because a lot of hotels and casinos, and well, I shouldn't say casinos, but hotels in general, seem to be moving away from anything that what I would consider like time. I don't know, something that takes a lot of time.
Yeah,
I went
yeah,
blank there.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and because we've had Garde Manger chefs out here before that did that stuff, and they did away with the position and stuff.
I'm curious, like, what it was that you saw or found, or what part of the carvings that just said, man, this is fun. I enjoy this. Because my side, if it came to me, I would look at it and just be kind of like, fuck me, you know? So like, what part of you was just like, hell yeah, let's do this, and really got into it, because it's, everything we do is very passion oriented, right? So
I think part of it's the fact that it forces me to slow down. My life is constantly go go go. Work and 4 kids and all that. So whenever I'm doing a carving, it just forces me to just stop, and that's all I'm focused on. And when I get into it, I put my headphones on and play some music, and I just can go for several hours without ever even looking up. So it just really, it's almost like I get into like a Zen mode or something whenever I'm doing it.
right, it's almost like your own little meditation.
Yeah, yeah.
What's the average time it takes to do a carving?
It just kind of depends on how intricate it is. Usually 2 to 3 hours.
What happens if you screwed up?
That just depends on how bad I screw up. Sometimes if it's just
Right.
a little mistake, I can work around it and figure out something to kind of hide it or make it blend in, whatever, where it's not really noticeable. But I mean, there's been times where I've been 3/4 of the way through a carving, and then like realized, oh man, that part was not supposed to be cut out, and then like I got to start over because I can't fix that. So
Right, right. So the next part, you mentioned, kind of offline here, that you wanted to kind of start learning some ice carving.
yeah, so that's kind of the next venture. We're gonna bring in some ice carving tools and bring in some blocks of ice and just kind of start playing around with it like I did watermelons, and see what I can do and try and start doing that in house.
Okay. Is the casino, I mean, are they buying ice carvings right now?
Not like on a regular basis. For some of our VIP events and stuff, they have brought in an ice carver and had them do some stuff, but it's not like on a regular basis. That's pretty few and far between. But having one in house that can do it, all of our big events and stuff, we could
Sure.
start making it a more regular thing.
No, I get it. Yeah, it was ice carving as well. That's just one of those. There's not a lot of people out there that do that.
Yeah.
So something about a chainsaw and a block of ice that is always kind of all right.
Yeah. The only thing I'll have to get used to is just working in the cold, because I'm not very cold friendly.
Yeah, well, I'm sure at a certain point you get over that part.
Yeah. I'm sure you get accustomed to it after a while.
So what inspires you? Like what drives you every day to kind of go in and just be like, hell yeah, let's do this?
So my biggest inspiration, I'd have to say, is definitely my wife and kids. I mean, they want to make me be a better husband, dad, chef, man all around. So, I know that I got to get up every day and bust ass. So that way, they'll have a good future ahead of them.
Right on. Is there anything online, like food related or things you've seen that you're just, you aspire to or chase after, outside of the family?
Yeah. So, I want to keep advancing in my, chef career. Right now, I'm obviously just kind of really getting into the Garde Manger stuff. So, I'm going to do that for a while and try and really become an expert on that stuff. And then, who knows where, we'll go from there. I plan on being at the casino probably for quite a while until my kids are out of school and stuff. So I'm going to be here a long time. So, there's always room for advancement here as far as, moving into, executive chef spots and stuff like that.
Yeah. No, a casino's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So everybody's kind of got that moment that they kind of questioned everything, where you just kind of like, what the hell am I doing? What have I gotten myself into? Have you had that moment? Have you had it yet? And if so, is that something you want to share?
Oh man, almost every day I have that moment. No, it's there's definitely been times, where working in, been stuck in the cafe, cooking burgers and chicken fried steak and stuff every single day, and just nonstop tickets, and I'm just like, didn't feel like, my career was really going anywhere, and so I just see, all these other positions in the casino, car dealers and stuff like that are, working 3-4 days a week and taking home twice as much, if not more than I was, and it's just like, man, is this really what I want to do? But, I just stuck through any of those moments and just knew that if I put up with, all the bullshit and stuff, it would start paying off. And, getting this Garde Manger job position and stuff, it's, obviously kind of starting to pay off. So definitely happy I stuck through it.
Yeah, it definitely seems like you've kind of found your little niche in the kitchen as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So tell me about some of your VIP events. I mean, you've kind of mentioned that, whether it's ice carving and stuff, like, offline we were talking and I said that the one shift that no one really talks about. You mentioned the VIP events.
Yeah, so they have the like renewal events for them, which is just once a year. We have big VIP events all through the year, but they have one every October, and it's like the biggest event of the year, and it's 2 weekends, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 2 weekends in a row, and it's like 2 to 4,000 people each weekend that we're doing these events for. And so it's just, those 2 weeks are just brutal. Everybody is, working 6-7 days a week and working just stupid hours sometimes. And all these, VIP people, you're in the events, and they just, they're, I'm sure you probably know how some VIP people can be. They're not always the easiest to deal with sometimes, but it's, uh, it's just a really grueling 2 weeks, and the other venues in the casino, they get short staffed because we have to pool them and the chefs from those venues to help with these events and stuff, and it's just it's hectic.
Yeah, I I don't miss some of those events. And no, it's funny. Like the VIP people, there's two types of VIPs. One that are just kind of used to it. They're just kind of it is what it is, and they might have some awkward demands or high maintenance stuff, but for the most part, they're fairly chill.
Yeah,
And then you're gonna have the other ones that it's probably the first time they've ever been considered a VIP,
yeah, yeah,
and so they go into it like I'm gonna abuse the fuck out of this,
yeah.
and they're just like, how far can I go with this? And it's just like, just don't be a dick.
Yeah,
Come on.
yeah, exactly. It's like sometimes I don't understand. It's like we're just here to make y'all happy and feed y'all and take care of y'all. You could just treat everybody a little bit nicer, but I guess if it weren't for those people, we wouldn't have jobs. So, but yeah, those VIP people, man, they like you said, there's the really awesome, really chill ones, and then you got the exact opposite of that. But at the end of those events, no matter how worn out and tired you are and stuff, you always feel really accomplished because you always pull off this awesome event that nobody, none of the guests see behind the scenes and stuff, everything that's going wrong, and the all the craziness that happens before these events, but always, they always go out smoothly and without a hitch and stuff. So it's pretty magical.
That's a great way to put it. Magical. Yeah, I mean, you're spot on there because it's all the work and all the planning, and then just day of. It's kind of like all that prep work you put into the big game, and you're just executing. You're following through, and you're going to have the hiccups, but you've got all your planning done, so you're prepared for the to call those audibles when you need
Yeah,
them. And then afterwards, it's like, I mean, you're right. It's just magical because you just feel fantastic
yeah,
afterwards. And I've never done events of that scale, especially back to back. But I know when it comes to putting a large event together. Um, but I always remember the next day, I was pretty much dead to the world.
yeah,
Like I pretty much, mentally, I was just
yeah,
done. I just didn't have anything left. I just woke up and it was just fucking
yeah,
mush. And it was just everything just kind of I put everything into it and it was just going. And then I went to bed and everything shut off. And I woke up and I was just like, nah, I need a day.
yeah, yeah. We definitely after those two back-to-back weekends, everybody tries to take 2, if not 3 days, if they can do it off, that following week.
Yeah. I mean, if you can do it,
Yeah.
because I mean, that's a big ask for a large group of people. So, your biggest concerns facing the industry today, whether it's hotels, restaurants, you know, this is kind of a big question for a lot of people because post COVID, things are different.
Yeah, definitely.
They're very different. Um, and there's some adaptions. Audibles, we'll go with audibles. There's some audibles we've had to kind of call that have become kind of permanent. Um, and it's just we're still kind of working through a lot of different things. But what is your biggest concern? What do you see is this industry facing that's just kind of like you're like, oh shit, how are we going to get through this? Is kind of a collective.
Yeah, so here locally, at least, anyways, that definitely one of our biggest concerns is just getting employees. People that actually want to be in a kitchen and not just take it as a job and then, move on in 6 months. We it's been a constant struggle since, we reopened from COVID, and that's, going on like what, almost 2 years now that we've been back open. So it's every everywhere around here, all the restaurants and stuff here locally are short staffed, and even all of our restaurants in the casino are constantly short staffed. Our banquets department right now, I mean, we're running with like 5 people. So it's a struggle.
Wow. Yeah, because the guests and your people coming in expect they've got their expectations regardless of what you have
Yeah.
available. So, I mean, have you had to make some adjustments on menus and what you can do for them?
Not really, uh, being at the casino, no matter what they have a, expectation of our standards of what, especially our banquets team is, to put out. And so, when we need help, the other venues are good about lending us cooks and chefs and stuff to help us execute things. So, that's one awesome thing about being in a casino is, that you're not just it's not all on you. You have a executive team behind you to help you out, and you have, multiple other venues that are, that consider you all one team that, will lend a hand when needed.
I gotcha. That helps quite a bit, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, when it comes to staffing, like, what do you think it is with your specific situation near the casino that struggles with staffing? And I ask this because staffing is a very it's become a kind of a tricky question or concern because there's there's people that didn't want to come back to the restaurants or to whatever the hospitality will say for a lot of reasons. A lot of cooks didn't want to come back just because of a lot of work, a lot of pay, and some cooks just found other jobs when things were closed and just never came back. Um, some people say it was the toxic culture, which I don't know if I necessarily buy into that too much. Um, but what is it that you think it is that why people aren't coming back? And has your hotel or have you guys done anything to try to address that?
So yeah, I think at least for here, anyways, one of the hardest things about getting people to work in the kitchen is, they see these other jobs that are available at the casinos, car dealers and cage cashiers and stuff like that are, only working 3-4 days a week and, take home, quite a bit more money. So they're like, well, why would I want to bust my ass, 5-6 days a week, 8, 10, sometimes 12 more hours, and take home shit for money when I could go, learn how to deal cards for a few weeks and then work 4 days a week for, probably less than 8 hours and be taking home, upwards of, 80, $90,000 a year. So that's definitely one struggle that we have had here for sure. But the casino, whenever we reopened from COVID, they they were offering, higher on incentives like a, $500 or $1,000 bonus. I can't remember which one it was, but they were offering on a, higher on bonus and stuff for to try and get more associates into the F&B department.
Right. Has your base pay increased since then? Not yours specifically, but just kind of
Yeah, I can't remember if our, the minimum wage starting out here for the casino, if it raised. It was either right before COVID happened or right after, but they did, right around all that time, the pandemic and stuff was happening. They did, they raised the base pay for cooks and stuff. So I think starting out, it's like between $13 and $15 an hour right now, I think. So, it's pretty decent for, starting out. cook job. Definitely more than what I made whenever I started as a line cook.
No, I mean, even then, like when I started as a line cook a long time ago, um, I was, man, I was probably 9, $10 an hour.
Yeah. I think mine was.
But that was, I mean, we're talking over 20 years ago. So the fact that we're only, yeah, the fact that after 20 years it's only gone up $5, to me,
Yeah,
that's concerning.
yeah, right.
But I also, I mean, this is also something that I dealt with my restaurants and the ownership group and trying to talk to them about pay rates. And it was just, man, it was kind of sad where some of that was.
Yeah, yeah. It's almost like our cooks and stuff. It's not really like we're looked down upon or anything, but almost. Like we don't. It's almost like people don't think that working in a kitchen is so difficult that we should make a decent wage.
Yeah, it's kind of sad where the cooks as a started out as kind of a, I don't want to call it a profession. It wasn't necessarily a profession. The chefs were the profession. The cooks
Yeah,
were kind of a stopgap, if you
yeah,
will. It was just kind of a where people were they were cooking because they were just in between jobs or didn't have anything else. Um, and so I think that's where the pay came from, maybe. But it's amazing how many people don't realize that it is such a learned skill that is incredibly valued just to maintain your people and not have to continue to retrain people, just for retention purposes.
yeah, definitely. And you see places like McDonald's and stuff like starting out at like $17 an hour at some places now, and it's like, well, shit, these guys are like, I can just go, flip hamburgers and drop some fries in a fryer at McDonald's for more than what I'm making, busting my ass on this hot line every day. So it's
That's hard to argue with.
right, yeah, and some of them I'm like, well, I honestly can't blame you. You gotta make a living, so if somewhere's gonna pay you more money for a what I would consider a easier job, then why wouldn't you in some cases?
Hmm.
But that's
Yeah, because a restaurant can consume you in a lot of ways, and it's, I mean, can be kind of abusive.
yeah, yeah,
Not from, abusive in the fact that you've got chefs and everybody yelling at you, but it's just,
just the work itself, yeah, it's
yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah. I don't think a lot of people realize how laborious it is to be on a 90-100 degree line every day.
Oh, minimum.
Yeah,
But and for those that really give a shit what they're doing, when they don't get that recognition, or when stuff starts coming back to them, or they get treated kind of that, like they are that second person or the second rate citizen kind of thing in some places. I mean, it is just so demoralizing.
yeah,
Um, where it's just, and then all of a sudden they kind of they go from that give a shit to the, you know what, I'm just gonna, I could give a fuck.
yeah.
um, which is, unfortunately, I've seen that, and that's the last thing this restaurant industry needs.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of wasted potential. I've seen a lot of line cooks that it's like, man, if you just would really, work hard at it, you could be, an amazing cook and an amazing chef someday. But they just, their heart's not in it to want to do that.
We'll wrap this up with two questions I ask everybody towards the end. All right. One tool that you cannot live without.
I would definitely just have to say my 2.5 inch little tiny fruit carving knife. it's it has done me well for lots of projects. So
Okay. And then cookbooks, whether it's professional or not personal, but kind of at home. Um, what do you go to? Whether it's, do you read cookbooks? And
yeah, I read cookbooks. Go
No, I
ahead.
was gonna just, but like, what's the ones you find yourself drawn to the most?
Um, so pretty much anything to do with barbecuing, obviously I'm, in the, northern part of the South, but I'm in the South enough that, barbecue is a huge thing around us. And I've, barbecued my entire life. And so I, love, reading different books about that. But one cookbook I'm currently, it's not even really a cookbook. It's almost more of like a textbook from the CIA. That's The Art of Charcuterie, because that's trying to start learning how to make all my own, sausages and prosciuttos and stuff like that. So that's kind of the one I've had my nose in lately.
All right. So Riley, a new cook starting off. What would you tell him?
You know, if you don't have kids and a family, travel, try and work in, as many kitchens as you can without floating around, too much and screwing jobs over by leaving them too early. Uh, but learn as much as you can. And I'm not the exactly the picture perfect person to be saying this, but stay healthy. Don't let the underbelly of the kitchen consume you. Try and eat right. Don't smoke. Don't drink. Don't do drugs. Because that you'll definitely regret it later on in life.
Now, when it comes to, like you mentioned, don't drink, don't, with the drugs, like, I mean, that's almost so much of the restaurant culture, the cook culture. Why do you think that comes from?
Probably a lot of it's just because the job's so grueling sometimes. Got long hours, and so a lot of guys need something to keep them up and awake going during the day, and then need something to put you out quick at the end of the night. Almost that. And it's been glamorized and shit a little bit. So it's they almost see it as, a lot of guys kind of see it like, oh, that's that rock star lifestyle. And it's definitely not worth it, because we're not we're not rock stars. We don't have the money to be blowing on booze and drugs every day. That's why bust your ass and earn that money for something that's gonna ruin your life later on.
Yeah, and then also leave you broke.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Good words. All right, Riley. Well, I really appreciate your time today, sir.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it. I enjoyed it.
And thanks for listening to this episode of Inside the Pressure Cooker. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the show and leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you on how we're doing. And lastly, if you'd like to be on the show, go to insidethepressurecooker.com and fill out the form. It'll tell me a little bit about you, some of your story, and how it applies to the show. We'd love to hear from you and love to have you on the show.